Hello, hello. Welcome to Everyday Move once again. We're kind of down to the last few days of this series, so hopefully you can go back and pick and choose the ones that you really appreciated and enjoyed and hit them all over again. It's been good for me as well, and definitely reminding me and helping me understand just how important it is to get movement and mobility, not just always lots of intensity and swinging weights around. So we're going to start off with some hip openers. So I'm going to have you just start with kind of a wide base of support. Take your toes kind of nice and wide. Set your hands on your hips. And then just hinge the hips over to the right. And then hinge over to the left. So you're just taking a little hinge, pushing the side hinge over. Come back to the other side. You'll feel a little stretch through the groin, that inner thigh. Pick the chest up. Don't forget that core always has to be active. I should start learning how to say that in like different languages. Strong core. And it's not like a broken record. All right, one time that other side, one more time. Hinge it over. Perfect. Okay, and then bring your feet in near one another, and we're going to do swings around. So let's start with our right leg. Pick the knee up in the front and then open it out to the side. Then we're going to take it back from the back to the front. We'll stay on that same side. Just try to go for maximum amount of movement in that hip joint. Pull it up and around and return. We're so appreciative for all the ways our body can move, the things it can do. Just going to make sure to keep tapping into all those ranges of motion so they can continue to be useful. Last time. Okay, let's go to the other side. Right leg, bring it up in front and then around. Knee comes up high, back around. Even just noticing which muscles you have to kind of incorporate and use a little bit more. Pulling the leg to the back, from the back to the front to the back. Let's go two more. And one more. Bring it back to the front. Perfect. All right, give yourself space on your left side, and you're going to just lift the leg open and then drop. Open and then drop. Just as high as you can. Keep the toe facing straight ahead. 2 and 1. Okay, now we'll open to your right. Right leg up and down. Up and down. Obviously kind of paying attention to that support and stability into the stabilizing still leg. Last one. Okay, we are going to do a spider lunge. So the feet are going to be nice and wide. Hinge your body all the way over and see if you can get it all the way down. So put your hands on the ground, adjust your feet, adjust your knees, wherever you can get to get all the way to the ground. So right now, my heel is up off the ground, and that's okay. It's going to take me a few rounds probably to get all the way on the ground, and today I may not get all the way on the ground, and that's okay too. Your toe is up, facing the ceiling on the other side, on your straight side. We're going to use our hands for the first couple. Push into those hands to pick the body up, that booty up, slide over, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So of course, if you're not getting this low, it's no big deal. You can use a chair to support yourself. You can use your leg, putting your hands on your, I'm going to fall over, hands on your knee to support, or whatever else. All right, push into the hands, bring the body back over, sit your hips back and down. Get that opening on that side, stretch through that hip, that groin, that inner thigh, push up and over. Depending on what your job is, how often do you get in a position like this? Even if you don't have a job, we all have a job, one way, shape, or form, even if you're a kid. Hinge it over again. We're on that first side. And then it's up to you. If you feel like you want to try to build in some heat into the legs, bring your arms up. And you're going to see if you can push yourself all the way up and over without using the hands along the ground. Hinge it over. Stable here. And then ready, set, hinge in, press up, oh, all the way up to the top. Okay, keep your feet nice and wide here for me. Push your hips back, and we're going to go into a forward fold. So wherever you feel comfortable in your fold, push into those hands, and then I want you to kind of build some traction in those hands. So pull the body forward, open the chest, and let your shoulder blades drop. Right? So we want to try to pull them toward one another. You know how we do cat-cow on the ground in hands and knees, or we've done them standing? We're going to do a couple of those here, just kind of a plunge move. So push into the hands, round the upper back, and then open the chest. So the shoulder blades shove together, push down away from your ears, and then exhale, round. Pull that belly button in, and then open the chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and exhale, round. Perfect. And then just come to a neutral spine. Have your toes slightly come in toward one another and the heels slightly go out. And then walk your hands back now underneath your hips. Hopefully you can put a little pressure into your hands, spread your fingertips nice and wide. Of course, grabbing that core. Turn your hands the other direction. So your fingertips are pointing back behind you. And then see if you can walk your hands backwards any more. Back, back, back. Hinge it forward. Let the weight of your head kind of pull you forward. Flex deep into that core. Slide the shoulder blades down. Walk your hands back. All right, and then you're going to pull your heels in and the toes out, and we're going to take a little forward fold squat. So wherever you feel like you would like the pressure of your hands, and again, you can use a chair or a bench, drop your hips down. I would like for my knees to be out with my toes. So I'm going to bring my heels in a little wider, narrower. So heels out, knees out with toes. You're taking that squat and then push the hips up. Get a nice stretch through those hamstrings. And then drop into your squat. Get down nice and deep. Elbows push those knees out. And then up into your stretch. And then drop down into that squat. One more time. Open the chest, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then push up into that fold. All right, turn yourself sideways on your mat, and we're going to go onto our hands and knees. So just shoulders over the wrists and knees underneath the hips. And we're going to go back into working into those hips, okay? So we're going to lift the right leg straight up behind and then pull the knee out to the elbow, pushing it back straight, pulling it back, pushing it out straight, pulling it to the elbow, push it back, pull to the elbow, push it back. We'll go 3 more, keeping that core strong. See if you can get the knee up high toward your tricep. 2, get into that oblique. And 1, now keep the knee up, and then you're going to drop the foot outside that right hand. Walk your left leg back just a bit. Keep your hands planted, and then let that right knee drop out away from the midline. We're going to lift the back knee up off the ground, and then drop it. Lift and drop. One more time, just lift it, drop it, keep the knee on the ground. We're going to hinge back, get that little hammy stretch. Come back to the front, and we're going to put that leg, putting it back, so lift your back knee up. We're going to lift the foot, grab into the core, and then put it back. Oh, I was in a plank position. You can keep your knee down if you want, or stay in your plank position. Okay, we're going to go to the other side. Plant your hands and knees. Left leg extends behind, level off those hips, lift your leg, and then pull to that left tricep. Push it back. pull it in. Going for all those different ranges of motion in the hip joint. And we're trying to flex and contract through the core and through the muscles all along the way. Flex it in, push it back. Flex into that thigh. Keep that belly strong. 3, 2. Okay, bring it up and hold just a split second. Hold it up by that tricep and then plant your foot outside the hands. Open that left knee out away from your hands and shoulders and then extend that back knee back. Lift your knee. Tap it down. Lift and tap. Lift. Make sure that you're not putting pressure up in your neck. Hold it in through that core. Last one. Drop onto that knee. Hinge back. Stretch your hamstring real quick. Come back up. Why not? We lifted our leg last time. Might as well lift it this time. So pick your left knee up. Hold it. And then place it back. Open those knees wide. Hinge your hips back. Give yourself a nice quick child's pose. Drop your forehead onto the ground and relax. All right. Coming back up, we are going to go into our planche. So spread those fingertips nice and wide. Stay on those knees. You can do whatever you want with the toes. Curl them under, put them flat. Okay, let your shoulder blades sink together. Sag in nice and tight. And then press out, getting as much dome through the upper back as you possibly can. And then chest drops. Sink those shoulder blades together. And then push and dome. Sink together. When you dome, I really want you to feel the flexion of the back muscles. You have to really tighten and incorporate the muscles behind the armpits, serratus anterior muscles, to get that push, that flex. Did you forget about your core? I hope not. Always core, always core. Push it up, flex a bit, open and squeeze together. And it's okay if you don't have a lot of range, you feel like you're barely moving here. When I first started doing these, I was not quite sure what was going on. Felt like nothing was really doing anything. But as you build awareness and keep giving it a go, you'll build it up. It's going to be great. All right, we're going to go 2 more. Squeeze together. Push it up. All right, and then we're going to go into a little dolphin set. Okay, so put your hands together, open your elbows, and then let your forehead kind of angle down toward the mat a little bit. Curl the toes under. If you want, if this is good enough for you, if this is a stretch that builds into your back, just slide those shoulder blades down, still keeping the core nice and strong, and hang out here. That's fine. Otherwise, just tuck that chin, make sure the head is about right where your knuckles are, and then curl your toes under and shift your hips up and back. From there, really drive into the forearms so that the chest reaches back toward your thighs. Tuck in that chin. You should feel pressure in your shoulders, in your back. Upper back mostly. Obviously the core. Good. Stay nice and strong. Slide those shoulder blades down. If you need to take a break, take it. Otherwise, we're going to hold a few more deep breaths. Just take the time to feel what's going on in the back. Open that chest up off the ribs. Contract your core. Slide the shoulder blades down. One more deep inhale. And one more deep exhale. And then drop your knees onto the ground. Go ahead and put your big toes together. Open your knees out. And we're going to do a fun little stretch here. So sit back like you're going to hit up a child's pose. Forehead goes on the ground. Put your hands into a prayer position. Dig into those elbows. So you're going to bend the elbows and bring the thumbs back behind your neck. You're going to come to the nape of the neck. Push the chest toward the ground and really push the triceps into the ground. Then I'm going to have you just kind of gently walk them forward a teeny bit more, 1 inch, maybe even a centimeter. Spread across your chest. Try to feel like you're broadening through the shoulders. You'll feel a nice stretch in those triceps. It's amazing. All right, release your hands. Coming back up. We're going to go into a full downward facing dog. We're going to add in another little hip opener. So push into those hands, slide your hips up and back. Find a position where you feel like you have solid control with your core and your back. So open through the chest, hollow through the armpits, and slide those shoulder blades down. Put all the weight in your left leg, lift the right leg nice and high, and then bend your knee, open that heel over to the left hip, press into both hands, get that expanse and opening through that hip. Keep it pulling, push evenly into both hands, and then let's put that foot back down, and then we'll try the other leg. Left leg lifts, pull that left heel over to the right hip, push into both hands, keep driving the chest back toward your thigh. Open, open, open. And then drop it down. If you can, stay in your down dog. So just find that even press between your heels and let your left hip drop over to the left. Bring it through center, right hip over to the right. Grabbing through that core, go back through the left. Swing it in and back to the right. Come back to center, drive the chest back towards your thighs. Hold that flexion in the core. And then go ahead and drop onto your knees. Keep your toes curled under. Sit your heels back on your hips. And we're going to do a little kneeling stretch for that upper body. So see if you can plant your hands, your fingertips, left fingertips behind you. We've done these guys before. And then reach your arm back as far as you can. So put pressure into that left arm, but lift up out of the neck and shoulders. And then reach behind nice and far. You can hang out here, or if you'd like, see if you can lift the hips up off your heels. Opening that chest, getting that stretch to the upper back. Push the hips forward if you can. All right, and then level your hips back down. You can come up or try to plant the right hand behind you, keeping your hips back. Still holding stretch through that chest, shoulders. So now you're planted on the right hand. Reach the left hand behind you. Open that chest. Flex between your back muscles. All right, and then push into that hand and lift your hips up off your heels, pushing those hips forward. You got it. Open through that chest, reach the left arm behind you a lot. Keep lifting those hips up high. And then drop your hips back down. Put your left hand on the ground. See if you can just reach back here. Roll the shoulders back and down. Lift the chest. Try to get those arms nice and straight. Still gently engage that core. Keep grabs there. Keep it healthy, strong. Protect your low back. Core contraction is protecting the low back. All right, you can lean onto one side and then come on up to seated. And then we are going to go ahead and extend all the way forward for an up dog. Plant your hands, flex your glutes, and then reach the chest forward through those arms. Put the tops of your feet on the ground and then flex and lift your knees up off the floor. Of course, if you want to keep your knees on the floor, that's fine. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep flexing your glutes. Push up out of those hands. Feel that stretch across your chest. All right, drop your knees. Hinge those hips back. Take another little stretch to that low back. Put your knees together and turn them to the right and put both hands to the left. So you should feel a nice stretch across the right side of the body here. Slide the shoulder blades down. Okay, and then turn, taking the hands to the right, knees to the left. Stretch across here. Come back to the front. We're going to plant our hands back forward, taking another up dog. Spread those fingertips wide. Get your shoulders set over the wrists. Tops of the feet on the ground. Flex your glutes. Push the hips forward. If you can, get your knees up off the ground. You're still flexing through those legs. Driving those shoulder blades together. Okay, and then see if you can pull through that core. Turn both feet under. We're going to come all the way up through a down dog. So push through the hands, drive the hips up and back, and then walk your feet up towards your hands. Hang over the legs, stretching through the back, and then we're going to get a little more movement in through those hips and low back. So shift your hips over to the right, shift your hips over to the left, shift to the right, shift to the left. Come back to center, engage through the core, come all the way up, grab your arms up overhead, pull your left hand over to the right, come back through center, pull your right hand over to the left, and then level off. All right, we made it through. Good job. Keeping the fun going.